Welcome, everyone. My name is Sheridan Johnson. I'm the Government Relations Specialist here at the Montana Chamber of Commerce. I'm flying solo today as Todd and Charles are busy up at the Capitol, but things are moving right along. Today is the transmittal deadline for revenue bills, and so the House and Senate were on the floor nearly all day yesterday trying to get those things moved across that first finish line to be transmitted to the other House. I've heard some other folks say that the Senate is really just pushing on the gas, trying to get things through, and lots of talk this morning on whether we'd really make it until May 5th with how many farmers and ranchers we have there in the legislature, and we'll keep you updated on whether or not we'll finish early. Last week, we had a couple of our littler priorities on our tort reform package, Senate Bill 279, and then Senate Bill 93, generally revising ballot issues, should be up for executive action today or tomorrow. I think tomorrow, but we'll keep you updated on how that vote goes out of House State Administration. That's modernizing the ballot initiative process. And a few on those media film tax credits. Then we had a couple last week that were heard in appropriations or Senate Business and Labor and moved quickly to the floor. One on reviewing broadband deployment laws, which is just a modernization update for federal funding, was on the floor for second reading yesterday, on third reading today. And then one, Alice Buckley's bill on the Best Beginnings Child Care Scholarship Program. That's House Bill 648, and that's also on third reading today. It was a pretty close call. So if there are any legislators that you want to get a message to before the floor session starts this afternoon to make sure that they, again, vote yes. It was 51-49. That just provides a scholarship for low-income families. There's a certain poverty percentage, and then if you're receiving federal TANF funding as well, you can qualify for that. A couple different workers' compensation law bills up last week. Another couple would have dissolved the Montana State Fund entirely. Others just had some changes to either the types of benefits or the length of benefits. That was last week. And then today I was up this morning, Senate Business and Labor on one of those as well. We were happy to support House Bill 888. That would support community colleges. And so that was funding for Miles City, the college in Miles City and Flathead Valley Community College. And I'm totally blanking. The third, Dawson County Community College. It's more helpful when there's somebody else here to help me out, I think. And then a couple different housing bills as well. And some of them made it through appropriations and some did not. You might have seen in the Montana Free Press article, the House voted to shoot down 825, which was the governor's version of an affordable housing bill. House Bill 819 is Paul Green's bill, and that will create a reinvestment account to buy down homes, to create deed restricted homes for kind of that middle income, middle to upper income, where folks still can't afford to buy a house, but they're not considered low income. So some housing there. That was 819, and that one's on third reading today as well, I believe. Some other lots of tax things, but that's not my area of expertise. I can try to answer a few more questions if you'd like. And then working on that firearms discrimination bill, Charles has spent a lot of time on that, trying to get some amendments in to make it at least workable. That was heard last Friday, and I'm not sure where it is just yet. And then I was in appropriations till late Friday afternoon, speaking on the media tax credit that would raise the cap to 75 million. And that one ultimately did not make it out of committee, but Senate Bill 14 is still alive, and that is on the Senate floor today, I believe. And that one raises it to, well, originally raises it to 30 million, but then was down to 25 million. And this week, still moving right along. Yesterday, like I said, they were on the floor all morning or all day. And so not as much hearing activity on our end, but just keeping an eye on those bills we care about. And then this morning, there was a kind of a weird bill that we were regarding adverse possession that we were working on some amendments for, but Todd will have more information if that matters to you. And then some funding for Coal Trust loan program for housing was up again. It had been transmitted, and again, some unemployment. And then on our priorities, our three major tort reform bills, well, I guess four, Senate Bill 216, our products liability bill, made it out of committee and will be heard on the floor. That happened just this morning. And then Charles is currently sitting in the House Business and Labor Committee. This morning, we had three of our priority tort reform bills. So that was Senate Bill 236 to establish time-limited demand standards, and Senate Bill 269 for third-party litigation financing, so consumer protections there, and Senate Bill 165, which is insurance claims cooperation. So kind of the other side of that coin of Senate Bill 236. And so he's busy up there, and we're keeping an eye on it. Some other things coming up later this week. We're not quite sure how the week will turn out with Easter coming up and all of how they decide to run things. We'll see. But we do have Senate Bill 104 that would exempt retired military pensions from state income tax later this week, and some corporate income tax water's edge election laws also on Thursday, both up in House tax. And that is all I have on my list here. And I don't have all of the analysis quite on what the legislature will do when they'll be done, how fast they'll finish. But this is my first session, and it's really interesting to see how things are moving right along, firing through, and all of the many personalities up there in that Capitol building.